Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Behind the Wheel podcast, a podcast where we'll discuss the recent cars we've reviewed, talk about the recent news, and also possibly even throw in some offers. So if that's something that you might be interested in watching, then do click on the subscribe button or follow us on social media to be notified when the next podcast goes live. In today's episode, we chat with Paul about the new Polestar 2 that we have recently reviewed, going over what we like about it and the areas that we think there might be room for improvement. Plus, we even throw in a couple of offers at the end. But that's it, I'll leave you to it. I hope you enjoy the episode. If you do give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to start doing, or hopefully start doing, a little segment like this for our podcast, which is going to be kind of a continuation of the Behind the Wheel series that we used to have on the channel, where we'll talk about what cars have we recently filmed, what offers we might be having coming up this week. We might not include as many offers today just because it's the first episode and we kind of like just trying to get a feel for things to start with. But moving forwards, maybe we'll add that. And so it's just a complementary addition to the car reviews that we already produce. And it's another way for you guys to see the different faces behind the OSV brand and possibly even the Riverville brand. So if that's something you guys are interested in watching or listening, because we'll also produce this in an audio file version so that you guys can listen on your way to work, on the train, whatever. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys have to say about that.
Very good.
Today, we're joined by the lovely Paul.
Yeah, lovely.
Some of you might have seen Paul before in some of the Facebook Lives that we used to do, that I used to do with Tom, where I used to be behind the camera monitoring everything. Now I'm still behind the camera monitoring everything, but I'm also in front of the camera, which is great.
Which is weird.
Which is great. I'll also leave a link to Paul's bio video in the description below so that you guys can also get to know Paul a little bit more and see what he is all about. But I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us about a little bit about what you do before we jump into the Behind the Wheel podcast.
I work mainly in the marketing team. I do a lot of the pricing behind the scenes for the websites. I'm also in kind of the customer relations side and do a lot of the renewals. So most of my job is contacting customers, talking, looking at renewals, but also working on some things behind the scenes with the website and making sure the prices are right, looking for some of the offers and amazing things that we find and get up on the site with people. So diverse role.
Lovely. It sounds like you're never bored, basically.
Never bored.
Never bored. And does that mean that if someone wants a nice discount, they need to speak to you?
Not necessarily.
Oh, that's a shame.
No,
so sorry about that, guys. I tried. I saw your mind going there, so I thought I'd ask for you.
No, our vehicle specialists will be able to assist on anything along those lines. But give a call in, main number, and of course, we'll be able to assist in that sense.
Perfect. And so the main reason behind today's episode is the fact that this week I've filmed the Polestar 2, the new version that we've been test driving. And so I've taken Katie out for her first impressions segment yesterday.
That's it.
And that video will hopefully come out within the next 2 weeks or so. So if you are interested in watching that and you're not subscribed to our channel, then do consider subscribing. But that was the first impressions video. Now, you had a bit longer with a car. You've had about, a couple of evenings, you took the car away.
Yep.
So I thought it'd be interesting for our viewers to also know how it is like spending maybe a week with a car and see what your experience was like.
Yeah. I've been quite lucky in the sense I've had it 2 nights now. Even last night, so with your lovely drive yesterday, Katie assured me there was plenty of charge left in the car for me to get home and back, which there wasn't. I got most of the way home before realising I probably wasn't going to get back again. So I had to charge it. So I had to pull into a petrol station and find a charger and charge the vehicle up. I've got to say, Polestar system is fantastic. On the screen, hit the fuel button, which is an icon on the top corner. It finds the nearest station for you. It tells you whether it's a fast or slow charger. It gives you ratings, how long ago it was last used. All sorts of different information on there. And I picked the one that was on my way home, which happened to be a rapid charger. Pulled up, plugged it in, paid for the electric, and stood there for about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, and it was absolutely charged 10 to 80%. And I think 10 to 80% on this particular one was something like 34 minutes. So I don't think I quite got to full charge, but the whole experience was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And I've never charged an electric car other than here at Rivendell or sort of at OSV's old offices, if you will. We used to charge off a 3-pin plug. I've not had the luxury of charging on before, so I've got to say, yeah, a really easy, stress-free, hassle-free. I was quite impressed.
Exactly.
I'll see what to do.
Yeah, and I think of you as someone who's actually quite computer literate. And the reason why I'm saying that is because some people might look at the Polestar and see that big screen and there's nothing else in there. There's a couple of buttons, but nothing else.
Yeah.
And they might feel like, okay, well, there's the option to search for the nearest charging station.
Yeah.
But will that be, buried within the menu? And if like you said, it sounds like it's quite a straightforward and easy to use feature by just pressing that button and charging it.
Really simple. Go to Maps and there's a picture of a fuel cap or a fuel pump. And when you press that, it brings up all the nearest fuel stations to you that have a charger. And it tells you what that charger is, whether it's fast, slow, whether it's out of action. It gave me all the information I needed to make a decision as to which one I was going to. It was really good. So yeah, and then pulled up and it was a BP station, so I had to wander around inside whilst I was waiting for it to charge. Nice. And then sat in the car and found that when I connect my phone, I can watch YouTube videos.
Can you? On the screen?
Yeah, on the screen.
Oh my God.
Obviously through my phone for my data, but I could quite happily sit there watching YouTube videos whilst waiting for the charge, which might defeat the object of charging it quickly, but it still was quite enjoyable,
Nice. That is awesome. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was quite enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good. Because obviously, if you're using Apple CarPlay, that's a feature that's not available, but obviously because you've got an Android phone and stuff, and the car also uses Android as a software for the infotainment display. Yeah. So it's quite cool that it lets you do that.
So literally, it couldn't have been any easier if it tried to be. And yeah, I was quite impressed.
I think that's quite reassuring to hear, isn't it? And what are your thoughts in terms of because obviously we're talking about the screen, etc.
Yeah.
What did you think about the whole infotainment setup, the whole digital instrument cluster? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, I like cars that have got buttons. So I like to be able to find the button for the heating, whatever it may be. So I've never been a big fan of iPads, if you will, for want of a better use, big screen in the middle. Others we've had in the past, electric vehicles that have had this particular thing, you tend to find there's nothing to lean your arm on. So your hands, you're trying to drive and do something like turn the heating up or down. Your hands waving around all over the place trying to find the buttons or find the bit of the screen that you've got to touch without losing control of the car. But with the Polestar, you've got a nice big central, almost an armrest section. And I found quite easily you just rest your arm on whilst driving. You can look at the screen and see where you're going, hit the button, and you always hit it first time, if that makes sense. You know where you're going. That was quite nice. It was a well set up system and it's well laid out. It's a huge screen. The buttons are big, so your aim doesn't have to be perfect to hit what you're going for, if you know what I mean. It's absolutely brilliant. And then the digital display in front of you, your actual speedo display, if you will, the driver's display, you can have the map behind there. So if you're using maps, you have no need to look away from the road. It hasn't got heads up on this one, but I mean, a heads up display will probably be a little bit over the top because it's a huge, I can't remember what size that screen is, 11 point something inches, I think it is.
12.3.
12.3, I was close.
That's the infotainment, so you know.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's big enough to be able to see everything you need to see, your speed, your range, the map, and it talks to you as well. So yeah, absolutely brilliant setup, really well laid out, and everything is on your steering wheel really that you need. So as I was saying, I need buttons to find things. The only thing really you need to play with the screen with when you're driving is you can turn the heating up and down. Pretty much everything else is on your steering wheel, and it's just a case of learning where everything is, which doesn't take long. There's not that many buttons to play with, and everything's pretty much within it.
Cool.
I was very impressed.
Yeah, because it doesn't, even though it's quite a big screen, it looks like a tablet, but then you also, even though everything is done through the screen when it comes to your heating, etc.
Yep.
It's quite well laid out, I think, because the buttons are nice and large and they're there.
Yep.
You know, there's a specific button for the climate control, etc. And that area has everything you need. And the icons are nice and large, so it's quite nice to see what you're doing. It's easy enough to see what you're doing.
That's it.
Because we've used some cars where everything, you do have quite a nice infotainment display, but then all the icons are quite small.
It's sort of your little finger to be able to hit the buttons.
Shortcut buttons.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yep, it's not ideal.
But no, they've laid it out really well. I think they've got, like you say, decent sized buttons, decent sized screen, and you don't have to, take your eyes off and stare at the screen for a long time, try and find what it is you're looking for whilst ploughing into a tree. You're on the road and you're still going where you're going. You've hit the button you want. But as I say, once you've got yourself set up, you shouldn't need to touch it. Because your radio, if you're on a radio station, it's DAB. There's one button up and down, and you can just scroll through all the DAB stations. So even if it does mean that you're on Absolute Radio and you want the one that's at Z, okay, there's a bit of scrolling, but you're going to go through all the. You can get to it. You haven't got to take your eyes off the screen. You just keep going and look back to see which station you're on. But yeah, I didn't have to take my hands off the screen, and you don't want to take your hands off the steering wheel because it's heated steering wheel. So
nice, very
the windsy. Nice.
Keep it warm, yeah, because we had quite a day of filming yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's partially the reason why you basically had no charge by the time you actually got the car, was because we were driving around town, as you will see. And if that's a review that you want to see in the future, because that'll be coming out in sort of the next 2 to 3 weeks. So if that's something you're interested to see, then do subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be notified when that video goes live. Because I think it's really going to be, it's definitely been one of my favorite cars.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the angle that we are aiming with this Behind the Wheel podcast section, is that we can give you a bit more of an opinion rather than like, these are the specs, this is what it has, because that's where that's what the car reviews are for. I think this segment is more like a natural chat with each other to
kind of real life, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Use it. I mean, I had to go to Tesco's last night. My wife, I decided to go out driving. My daughter always wants to go out whatever car I bring home. Can we go for a drive, Dad? Yes, of course we can. I'm not going to say no. We're going to go for a drive. But my wife then handed us a shopping list to go to Tesco's. So I actually got to use the car to go to the supermarket. And the coolest thing I like about it anyway, came back with 2 bags of shopping, and you just wave your foot underneath the rear bumper and it opens the boot, which I think is amazing, because it was pouring with rain. The key was in my pocket, and I like that feature. Just literally 1 foot, bags in, push the button, get back in. By the time I was in, sat down and comfy in the boot that just shut. I got to do some real world testing. It was brilliant.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And again, it's another thing, because I didn't get to test that during the car review. I did try and kick it, probably damaged the bumper, some possibly. Hopefully not. But it didn't open, so it's at least it works. That's not a feature that comes as standard with the entry level car, but it's something you can add on. And I think it's one of those things that on paper sounds like a bit.
It's like a gadget almost.
Yeah, a gadget, but you will appreciate it as soon as it's raining like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And your hands are full, basically.
Yeah. You're away. No, it was brilliant. Yeah, really, really useful feature, I think.
Yeah, it's lovely. And it's like everything else with that car. Everything is quite subtle. Nothing is like in your face, over the top. It feels like a normal car that you just sit in. It just happens to be electric, but it's nice. It's nice not to have EV shouted at your face every time you sit in a car.
It's not a head turner. It is. It's a lovely looking car, but it's not the sort of car where everyone turns their heads as you drive past and people point and stare at you. It's just a blends-in car that's got it's comfortable. It's got everything you need in it, all the features. There's tons of room for everybody. Buckets of room in the back, buckets of room in the front. The boot is huge. They've got a gargantuous, great big boot in there. As I say, yeah, I think it's a great car. It is top 3 for me. Top 3 cars. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And boot is, I think, 406 litres.
Yeah.
And it's not just the size, it's obviously like also a hatchback. So it's great to see, because we had, for example, the C4X, which is live already. So if that's something you want to watch, you can click
have a look
on a banner above and go and watch it. But that had a saloon opening to the boot, if that makes sense. And that does impact practicality a little bit. So whilst on paper it had like 512 litres, which is huge, but the way it opens, it kind of just messes everything up, because it then makes it really hard to fit in those bigger objects. So that one, I feel like, because it has a hatchback opening, there's plenty of space. You can throw pieces of furniture in there
easily.
And the boot is so, I'm not sure if you've seen, but there's a shelf as well that you can lift up and hang up the shopping bags. It's so well thought out, I think. It's just those little things that make the car just stand out just by being simple.
So much better, yeah, exactly.
There was a lot of thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely perfect. So yeah, but things like things I was looking at when we did this the first time round, and I had a few minutes just to prepare. But bits that, for reliability, for example, and the way that Polestar have worked out how trustworthy you can be almost in their product. The one thing I found was the battery warranty on this. So it's an 8-year battery warranty. But in that particular one, if in the 8 years, or I can't remember what the mileage was now, but it was definitely 8 years, if it drops below 70% on its state of health, they'll replace it within that 8-year period. So if it's 7 years in and the battery goes below 70%, the battery is replaced under warranty. And that says quite a lot about their sort of trustworthiness, if you will, or their products, the battery itself. They've got a lot of
Well, the confidence on the product, aren't they?
It's unbelievable, yeah.
And for those of you who don't understand that battery health thing, basically every battery depletes over time. So that means that even if the car says it's charged up to 100%, it's not. It's only at 70% capacity, even though it says 100%. Yep. You might notice that with your phone. Like my phone says that it's probably at 89%, and that's within 2 years. A phone goes down around 10 to 15% in battery health in the space of 2 years. So you can imagine a battery of that size,
a car,
with that capacity and being used that much, could deplete a lot faster.
Yep.
But if they're saying that they'll cover that within, if it goes below 70 within those 8 years,
it's a long time.
It just shows the commitment and confidence they have in that battery as well, which is really, really reassuring to see, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Reassuring.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, on the topic of design again, I really like it. It's different.
Yep.
You can tell that it's not the same as, it's not usual to see them on our UK roads because they have a very distinctive style. But it's nothing like the Kia V6 or the Hyundai Ioniq 5, where you can definitely tell this is an electric car.
Yeah.
That's more like, it is a saloon, but it looks very traditional, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, as I say, it blends in with the road quite nicely. It's just got all the features you want. But as I say, yeah, it's not a standout car that everyone's going to turn their heads at. If you want a standout turning head car, they're out there. But if you just want a car that's going to be practical, comfortable, you can get the kitchen sink in the back, and you're not going to have people, pointing and staring at you when you drive. It's an absolutely ideal car to have.
Absolutely. I think I'll definitely go for that one over many, many other options. Obviously, I'm not going to name them, but definitely would. Definitely would.
But there are others out there, yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously also, back to the topic of practicality and stuff, you also have the frunk or fruit.
Yep.
Which is, it's not the biggest space in the world, but if you've got a couple of shopping bags and it's not raining,
yes,
you can put them in the front.
Put them in the front. As I found with it, the charging cable was in the front. That was the most logical place to keep the charging cable was in the front. But easily you can put anything else in there. You can,
So overall, what's your overall thoughts on the car then?
Overall thoughts on that car, like I say, I'm going to put that in my top 3 cars. It's a car I would want to own, which is rare. Most of the time I'll hand them back and say it's lovely, it's fantastic, would be a perfect weekend car for me, or a bit of a giggle. I've really enjoyed it, but I couldn't live with it. In this case, I could live with that car quite happily. I would definitely own that one. So, yeah, and if there are any other reviews we do going forwards, I'll always be honest and say whether I think it's a car that I could actually live with. And personally, that is one of them.
Maybe we could add that. It could be like the Paul score. Paul's ownability score. Yeah, it's like Paul approved.
Paul Scoville. We can have many other the hot rating. Yeah, this is a score. It's a high score. This car is great.
Paul's seal of ownership approval.
Oh, that'll work.
I think that could be the meter for this thing.
This is the way we could do it. Yeah, well, that's a little char going.
Right, awesome. So, like we were saying earlier, we're still trying to find like a clear path for the behind the wheel series. Because there's so much we can do with it. We can give you behind the scenes footage. Yeah. We can give you like this sort of like interview style. There's so many options. So if you like the kind of stuff we're producing here at OSV, always subscribe. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts on this. If you're just listening to it on your way to work or on your commute, let us know what things to improve, what things you'd like to hear about. I think those are things that, because we have such a clean, a blank canvas at the moment, there's so much room for like improvement and obviously address the things that you guys want to know about the car and other things. It could be about OSV, could be about Riverbell, could be about anything else, anything else we got going on. And also offers. So I dropped that offer situation on Paul this morning. And I said to him, look, it'd be nice to like have some offers. And Paul said, yeah, that'd be nice going forward, but not for today, right? And I said, yeah, not for today. But Paul actually, as always, managed to surprise us and actually found some offers.
I've got some offers on the Polestar, yeah. It wasn't too hard to find. So there are stock Polestars out there. There's actually 4 that I've come across that I pretty much stopped at 4 because we had to come in and start filming. But the one that sort of stood out, there's a standard range single motor with the Pilot. It's 170 kilowatt, so it's a smaller one. But that's stock, and as an example, with 9 payments down over 2 years and like 5,000 miles a year, you'd be looking at £387.62 plus the VAT, which I don't think is too bad at all for what I know that car is. A lot of the time when I do any offers and I build stuff for the website and the likes of, I've never been in that car, so sometimes you're not too sure if it's a good price or not. You have to go and compare elsewhere and see what else is going on. But having driven it, I think, yeah, that's
Absolutely. That's a lot of a car for that price.
for that
isn't it?
price.
Exactly.
But then they've got 3 others. The long range versions that we had. There's single motor Pilot Plus, single motor Plus, both of those 170 kilowatt hour, and then the big one, which is the long range dual motor Pilot with a 300 kilowatt motor. So I know what this one feels like. That's going to be even better. They're all on and around the £440 a month plus VAT mark on the same 9 payments down, 2 years, 5,000 miles. So again, to get kind of the long range side of it with a few of the features on there, and the Pilot is well worth having. I found that driving to work this morning in traffic, you can put the Pilot on at slow speeds and it will just maintain you in your lane. It'll maintain a distance between the car in front of you. You basically don't have to do it. You just sit and watch the car in front of you and you will keep perfect time with it. If it slows down and stops, you slow down and stop. As it takes off, you take off. If it picks up speed, you pick up speed. It was brilliant. And then on the motorway, as we came out of all the traffic and started to hit the dual carriageway, everything started to pick up speed, as did I, until I was sitting there at 70 miles an hour, quite happily behind the car in front. I hadn't done anything. I just sat and held the steering wheel. That's all I did. Nice. It was great. But yeah, the Pilot is well worth, I think, going for. If you're going for any of these cars, you do want that Pilot on there. Even if you're not on dual carriageways all the time or motorways, just town driving, or if you're in traffic a lot, it's just a godsend.
Perfect, isn't it? We tried it as well yesterday, as I was saying earlier. Initially, we were a bit concerned about the whole thing, because obviously autonomous driving in our UK roads is a bit, this is not America where there's specific lanes and all the roads are treated and really nice to drive on. But 2 minutes in, and we were completely confident that the car was going to make the right decision. Obviously, you still need to make eye contact with the road. You still need to hold that steering wheel, otherwise it kind of starts flashing at you to let you know, please hold the steering wheel. But
it's an autonomous car, it drives. You have to hold the steering wheel, otherwise it screams, like you say, but otherwise it's got e-brake as well. So if you don't want to use that particularly, you've got the e-brake, which is everything on one pedal. When you push the accelerator down, obviously you go forwards. When you bring the accelerator back up, it starts to put the brakes on for you. So you don't have to take your foot off and go to the other pedal. So you can get nice and comfy and just
relaxing. Must be such a relaxing drive. Absolutely. Imagine having to commute, for half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever. It must be one of the best driving experiences. And one concern I had was about the suspension, because on reading all the reading material and stuff, it did come across as the suspension was going to be really firm. So you were really going to, considering our roads here, I was really concerned about the whole driving experience, because it's there and it's firm to obviously enhance the kind of the grippy feel that you get when you sit behind the wheel, because it feels quite grippy, doesn't it? Yeah. And it's to enhance that handling, so they made the suspension quite firm. But after sitting on it yesterday and listening to what you had to say earlier, it's not that firm.
It's not at all. It's firm enough that if you are driving on a country road and you're 50 miles an hour and you're going around a tightish corner, it doesn't wallow, it doesn't sink. It's not that it's firm enough to hold itself. But if you hit a pothole or a speed hump, you don't go through the ceiling and everything inside the cabin starts bouncing around. It easily soaks up the bumps. So it gives you the best of both worlds, I think. It's not too firm, but it's still firm enough.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And you've got the different RO modes as well. So you've got the soft, standard and firm.
That's true.
So you can make up for it with the different driving modes as well. So if anyone wants to contact us about these offers, and bear in mind that these offers are time sensitive. So if you are watching this video, in the future, these might not be available to you, obviously, of course, and obviously due to terms and conditions, they need to, terms and conditions apply to those offers as well. Right. So just bear in mind that if you're watching this in a couple of months' time, we're currently filming in October of 2023, those offers might not be available, but it's always worth giving us a call to see what other offers we might be having going on. Right.
Yeah.
What's the best number to do that?
Well, you can do 01903, I'm going to say it's different to you, 538835, or you would say
01903 538 835. Don't know why.
I do the 88. I don't know why. But also, dive on the website.
Absolutely.
Jump on the website. You can scroll through. You'll find manufacturer Polestar, the model Polestar 2, 3, whichever one you're after, and you'll see all the current pricing and whether there's stock, special offer. They're all on there as well. So you'll be able to pick the vehicles out. If this is months and months' time and you're not entirely sure and it's a weekend and you can't get hold of us, dive on the website and have a look and see what's there, and then give us a call on that.
But you can watch Paul's full bio video. I'll leave it linked in the description below because I think it's always nice for people to be able to relate to us. I feel like there are some people out there that are like, oh, we're just gonna hide behind the phone, and I feel like if we can actually be a bit more personal with people, then it creates a different kind of relationship. It's nice. It's nice to know you.
Yeah. We're nice people.
Exactly, we're nice people. We always see people, or any way you want to see it. But yeah, I'll link the bio video down below.
Brilliant.
And again, thank you so much for joining me. And
No problem at all.
I'm doing this twice.
But enjoyable to do it twice. No, it's fine. Excellent.
But yeah, thank you, and we'll see you again soon. And like I said, any comments, any suggestions on how to move forward for the Behind the Wheel podcast or series, of course, feel free to let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, then give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to our channel to be notified when our next video goes live. Oh, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
See you later. Some work.
Yeah.
Gosh. Thank you, sir. No, this is the bit.
Let's make sure.
Okay, recording. Yes. So that stopped recording. Oh, let's start your microphone.
All the way back upstairs again.
And recording. Perfect.
Hey.